Follow these 10 rules to become the best at anything you do, written and published by Stoic Ranger. Introduction. Imagine waking up one day and realizing that you've been living at half your potential, not because you lack talent, but because you never followed the rules that winners live by. Every champion you've ever admired, from athletes to artists, from inventors to warriors, became great for one simple reason: they followed a code, a set of rules that most people are too lazy, too distracted, or too afraid to live by. The truth is, success doesn't come to those who wish for it. It comes to those who are built for it. And if you want to be the best at anything, your craft, your career, your life, you have to earn it every single day. You have to wake up when others sleep, stay disciplined when others doubt, and keep moving when others quit. In this book, you'll learn the 10 unbreakable rules that will make you unstoppable. Rules that will separate you from the crowd and turn you into the kind of person no one can compete with. So focus your mind, silence your excuses, and get ready, because after this, you'll never look at mastery the same way again. 1. Master the boring repetition. Most people chase motivation, thinking success comes from doing something new and exciting every day. But that's not how mastery works. The truth is, the best in the world are not chasing excitement. They are perfecting boredom. They understand that greatness is not about doing big things once, but about doing small things consistently with total focus over and over again. The ordinary person looks for variety. The master looks for refinement. Think of a martial artist practicing the same kick thousands of times, or a writer rewriting the same sentence until it flows perfectly. It's not glamorous, it's not thrilling, but it's in that repetition that precision, confidence, and flow are born. Every time you repeat something with awareness, your brain rewires itself, your muscles memorize the movement, and your focus becomes sharper. This is how excellence is built, not overnight, but over countless silent hours of repetition that no one sees. Most people quit when things start to feel boring because they mistake boredom for failure. They think if it's not exciting, it's not working. But in reality, boredom is the doorway to mastery. When you reach that point where the task feels repetitive, that's when your mind starts to fight back, begging you to stop. If you push through that resistance, you move from practice to perfection. You stop being average and start becoming unstoppable. Every great athlete, musician, and entrepreneur knows this secret. Mastery lives in monotony. The basketball player shooting free throws for hours, the singer repeating scales, the coder fixing one bug after another. They're not looking for entertainment. They're training for excellence. Each repetition is a brick in the foundation of greatness. So don't chase excitement. Chase depth. Don't look for something new. Look to do the old things better. When you can perform a simple task with the same intensity and focus 1,000 times, you develop a power most people never reach. You'll stop needing motivation because repetition itself will become your rhythm. Remember, the repetition you resist today is the discipline that will make you unbeatable tomorrow. 2. Stay ruthlessly consistent. If repetition is the path, then consistency is the vehicle that carries you forward. You can have all the talent, potential, and passion in the world, but without consistency, none of it matters. The truth is, success doesn't come to those who work hard occasionally. It comes to those who show up every single day, especially when it's hard, dull, or inconvenient. Motivation might light the fire, but consistency keeps it burning long after others have gone cold. Think about the greatest athletes, inventors, or thinkers in history. They didn't achieve greatness because they had perfect days. They became great because they showed up on imperfect ones. The days they felt tired, unmotivated, or unsure were the days that defined them most. Because while everyone else waited for inspiration, they acted on discipline. That's what separates amateurs from professionals. Amateurs work when they feel like it. Professionals work even when they don't. Consistency is not just about working hard, it's about building reliability into your character. When you become consistent, you begin to trust yourself. You no longer depend on moods or motivation to move. You move because it's who you are. Every day you stay committed, you strengthen the muscle of self-respect. You prove to yourself that you can be counted on. That inner trust becomes power, and that power becomes momentum. Many people fail not because they lack skill, but because they stop too soon. They start with passion, but fade when the results don't come fast enough. But mastery takes time. Every seed takes seasons to grow. The early days might feel unrewarding. No applause, no recognition, no progress you can see. But deep beneath the surface, consistency is working quietly, shaping you, sharpening your focus, and building the foundation for your future success. Even one small, disciplined action done daily is far more powerful than a burst of effort done once in a while. 1 page a day becomes a book. 1 workout a day becomes a strong body. 1 act of focus each morning becomes a sharp mind. Consistency compounds, slowly at first, then all at once. So, stay ruthlessly consistent. Make your habits stronger than your feelings. Build a routine that works for you and protect it like your life depends on it, because your future does. The moment you stop depending on motivation and start depending on discipline, you'll realize something powerful. You no longer have to chase success. Success will start chasing you. 3. Turn pain into a teacher. Pain is life's most honest teacher. It doesn't flatter you, it doesn't lie to you, and it doesn't care about your comfort. Pain strips away illusions and shows you what you're really made of. Most people run from it. They drown it in distractions, hide behind excuses, or pretend it doesn't exist. But the truth is, every person who has ever achieved greatness has learned to sit with their pain, to study it, and to grow from it. Because pain is not punishment. It is preparation. Every setback, failure, and heartbreak carries a message meant to guide you toward growth. When something hurts, it's your soul's way of signaling that something within you needs to change, evolve, or strengthen. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" That single shift in thinking can transform suffering into strength. The moment you stop seeing pain as your enemy and start seeing it as your coach, everything changes. Look at the greatest examples in history: prophets, leaders, inventors, warriors. None of them became extraordinary without walking through fire. The pain they endured became the foundation of their wisdom. The rejections taught them humility. The failures taught them patience. The heartbreaks taught them compassion. The loneliness taught them resilience. They didn't escape their pain. They used it to sharpen their character like a blade being forged in fire. Pain is also a mirror. It reveals where your attachments lie, what you fear losing, what you refuse to let go of, and what you truly value. When you pay attention to what hurts, you begin to understand yourself at a deeper level. That self-understanding is what transforms pain into power. Because once you know your weak points, you can strengthen them. Once you know your limits, you can break them. Think of pain like resistance in the gym. The more weight you lift, the stronger you become. Similarly, the more discomfort you face and learn from, the more mentally and spiritually unbreakable you grow. But just like lifting, the growth doesn't happen in the moment of pain. It happens in how you recover from it. When you allow your pain to harden your ego, it destroys you. When you allow it to humble you, it refines you. You see, pain doesn't come to stop you, it comes to shape you. Every trial is an invitation to rise higher. Every failure is a test of your patience and endurance. Every heartbreak is a reminder to return to what truly matters: your inner peace, your faith, your mission. If you can find meaning in your suffering, it stops being suffering. It becomes transformation. So when life hurts, don't rush to escape it. Don't numb yourself or pretend everything is fine. Sit with it. Feel it fully. learn its language, because pain only stays as long as it has something to teach you. And when you finally listen, really listen, it leaves behind a gift, strength, wisdom, and clarity. The strongest people you will ever meet are not the ones who avoided pain. They are the ones who walked through it, learned from it, and came out better, not bitter. Remember, your pain is not your enemy. It's your awakening. Let it refine you. Let it rebuild you. Let it teach you what comfort never could. Because every moment of pain you endure with purpose becomes the foundation of the greatness you are destined for. 4. Protect your focus like treasure. In today's world, your focus is your most valuable possession, and almost everyone is giving it away for free. Every time you scroll endlessly, chase distractions, or let your attention scatter, you're not just losing minutes, you're losing mastery. Focus is what separates the average from the exceptional, the dreamers from the doers. It is the invisible force that determines how deeply you can learn, how well you can create, and how far you can go. The truth is, whatever controls your focus controls your life. We live in a time when everyone is trying to steal your attention. Social media notifications, entertainment, gossip, endless opinions. Each one may seem harmless, but together they create mental chaos. The human mind wasn't built to juggle 20 different things at once. Every time you shift from one task to another, your brain burns energy trying to refocus. You might think multitasking makes you efficient, but it actually weakens your ability to go deep. You end up being half present in everything, fully excellent in nothing. That's why the greats, athletes, artists, thinkers, all share one thing in common: an obsession with focus. They guard it like a lion guards its territory. They build walls around their attention. They eliminate noise, limit distractions, and design their environment to serve their purpose. When they work, they are fully there. No phone, no chatter, no interruptions, just raw, undivided attention. Because they know that focus is power, and every second of deep concentration compounds into mastery. Focus is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. Every day you must choose your priorities and direct your energy like a laser beam instead of a flashlight. A laser can cut through steel because all its energy moves in one direction. A flashlight just spreads light everywhere and achieves nothing powerful. Your mind works the same way. Scatter your attention and your potential weakens. Concentrate it and you become unstoppable. Ask yourself, how much of my day is spent reacting instead of creating? How much of my focus belongs to other people's goals instead of my own? The more you give away your attention to meaningless things, the less you have left for what truly matters: your growth, your peace, your purpose. To protect your focus means to protect your future. That's why you must set boundaries, not because you are rude, but because you are serious about your mission. Start small. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Schedule time blocks where you work deeply, without interruptions. Keep your environment clean and quiet. Practice mindfulness. Train your brain to stay where your body is. The more you train your attention, the stronger it becomes. Focus is a muscle. It grows with practice and decays with neglect. Also, understand this: your focus is a reflection of your inner peace. A restless mind cannot focus deeply. That's why spiritual and mental clarity are crucial. When your heart is scattered with worries, your attention will follow. But when your inner world is calm, your focus becomes razor sharp. Learn to quiet the noise within, and you'll automatically tune out the noise around. Remember, the world rewards those who can focus longer than others. Most people quit when it gets quiet, when it gets boring, when there's no stimulation. But the masters stay there. They stay in silence, deep in their work, long after others have given up. That's where breakthroughs happen, in the moments when distractions fade and concentration takes over. So guard your attention like a sacred treasure. Don't let everyone and everything access it. Use it intentionally, invest it wisely, and protect it fiercely. Because at the end of your life, your success, your peace, and your mastery will all be determined by one simple question. What did you choose to focus on? 5. Train when no one is watching. True greatness is not born in the spotlight. It's forged in silence. The most successful people you'll ever meet became great, not because the world was cheering for them, but because they were willing to train when no one cared, when no one noticed, and when no one believed in them. The truth is, the private hours you spend in discipline and preparation will always be more important than the public moments where you shine. Because when everyone else is sleeping, resting, or wasting time, that's when the real masters are still at work. Training when no one is watching is what separates those who wish from those who win. It's easy to give your best when people are clapping for you, when the lights are bright, and when you feel appreciated. But what do you do when no one's clapping? When there's no applause, no recognition, and no reward? Do you still give your best? That's the real test of character. Greatness begins in those quiet, lonely hours, when it's just you, your goal, and your determination. Think of a martial artist practicing in the dark, perfecting every strike until it becomes instinct. Think of a musician rehearsing long after the audience has gone home. Think of an athlete running laps alone while others sleep. These moments don't make headlines, but they make legends. The public only sees the glory, the medals, the success, the applause, but they never see the grind behind it, the sweat, the exhaustion, the discipline, the sacrifices. That's the price of mastery, and only those willing to pay it can reach the top. When you train alone, you meet your real self, without praise, without validation, without distractions. You face your doubts, your weaknesses, your laziness, and your excuses. You learn who you truly are when there's no one to impress. And that's exactly why it's so powerful, because if you can stay disciplined when nobody's watching, you can stay unstoppable when everyone is. The world is full of people who perform only when observed. They work hard when others are looking. They talk big when others are listening. But the moment they're alone, their effort dies. The best in the world are different. They don't need witnesses to give their best. They've built an internal standard, a level of excellence that doesn't depend on attention. Their pride doesn't come from being seen, it comes from knowing they're improving. When you train privately, your confidence grows quietly. You don't need to prove anything because you already know what you've built. You can walk into any challenge calm and grounded, knowing that you've done the work when others didn't. That's why true preparation feels like peace, because when the time comes to perform, you're not nervous, you're ready. You've already fought your battles in the dark. Training when no one is watching also teaches humility. It reminds you that mastery is a journey, not a performance. It strips away ego and forces you to focus on the process instead of the praise. Every hour spent alone in honest effort builds inner strength, patience, and endurance. Those qualities can't be faked, they must be earned. So, don't worry about being seen, don't chase validation, don't expect applause for your effort. Just work. Because while others waste time trying to look successful, you'll be becoming successful. When the lights finally turn on, your preparation will speak for itself. You won't need to talk, your results will. Remember this: training in private creates strength in public. The hours nobody counts are the ones that count the most. Keep showing up, keep working, keep refining, because when the world finally notices you, they'll call it talent, but you'll know the truth. It was the unseen hours that made you who you are. You said, "Now 6 write more long." ChatGPT said, 6. Never compete, dominate. The average person spends their life in comparison. They watch others, measure their progress, and chase approval. But the ones who rise above mediocrity don't compete. They dominate. Competition means you're trying to do what others are doing, maybe slightly better. Domination means you're operating on a level that others can't even comprehend. You're not running in their lane anymore. You've built your own track. The mindset of domination begins with understanding one simple truth. Comparison is the enemy of growth. When you constantly compare yourself to others, you chain your progress to their performance. You stop focusing on your craft and start obsessing over their results. The moment you do that, you lose power. Your energy, instead of going into creation, goes into competition. But when you step away from comparison, when you stop caring about who's ahead or behind, you finally free yourself to focus on becoming the best version of you. Look at every true legend: Bruce Lee, Muhammad Ali, Steve Jobs, Kobe Bryant. They didn't waste time trying to copy others. They studied everything, absorbed what was useful, discarded what wasn't, and added what was uniquely their own. That's what domination looks like: originality powered by discipline. They didn't want to fit in or play by the same rules. They wanted to redefine the game itself. And they did, because they understood that real greatness is not about beating others. It's about becoming so good that you make competition irrelevant. When you compete, your goal is to be better than someone else. When you dominate, your goal is to be better than you were yesterday. That's a massive difference. Competing is fueled by ego. Dominating is fueled by purpose. Competition ends when you win. Domination never ends, because growth is infinite. You're constantly evolving, learning, and expanding. You're too focused on your own progress to even notice who's watching. Domination is not arrogance. It's mastery of focus, discipline, and self-belief. It's about setting standards so high that only your future self can challenge your present one. It's about reaching a level where you're not fighting for a spot. You're creating the table where others hope to sit. When you dominate, you don't chase attention. You attract it through excellence. You don't talk about how good you are. Your results speak louder than your words ever could. Most people get stuck in competition because they want validation. They want to prove something. But the moment you're trying to prove something, you've already lost focus. The best never need to prove. They simply are. They show up, do the work, and let time expose the difference between effort and mastery. Their energy is directed inward, not outward. They train in silence and perform with precision. If you want to dominate, stop trying to outshine others. Start outlasting them. While they're distracted by opinions, you stay focused on progress. While they rest after a small win, you refine your craft. While they chase trends, you master principles. Over time, your consistency will make you uncatchable, because domination is not built overnight. It's built through years of quiet discipline, invisible improvements, and relentless self-accountability. Also, understand this: domination is not about crushing others. It's about raising the entire standard of what's possible. When you dominate, you inspire others to elevate. You become the benchmark that others study. That's how you move from competing in a crowd to leading an era. So never waste your energy comparing or complaining. There will always be someone faster, richer, or more talented. But no one can outwork you, outfocus you, or outlast you unless you allow them to. The real game is not outside you, it's within you. When you master yourself, competition dissolves. You no longer chase validation because your confidence comes from evidence. Evidence of the effort you've put in, the battles you've fought, and the person you've become. That's when you stop competing and start dominating, not through arrogance, not through ego, but through undeniable mastery. Remember this: competition ends where mastery begins. The goal is not to win against others, it's to win against your old self until you become so great that your presence alone raises the standard for everyone around you. That's what true domination looks like. 7. Stay calm under pressure. Pressure is the silent test that life gives to everyone who dares to rise. It exposes what's real and what's weak, what's practiced and what's pretended. When pressure comes, it doesn't build character, it reveals it. And in that moment, when everything around you feels like it's falling apart, the difference between those who break and those who rise lies in one skill: the ability to stay calm under pressure. When the fire of chaos burns, most people panic. They lose their clarity, their discipline, and their logic. Their emotions hijack their actions, and they start making decisions they later regret. But those who have trained their minds, the warriors, the monks, the masters, they don't run from pressure, they walk into it. They understand that life is a battlefield, and calmness is their weapon. In chaos, they find rhythm. In noise, they find silence. In storms, they find stillness. Calmness under pressure doesn't mean you feel no fear. It means you've learned how to control it. Everyone feels fear. Everyone feels doubt. Everyone feels stress. The difference is that some let it control them while others learn to control it. Staying calm is not about pretending everything is fine. It's about choosing to respond with wisdom instead of reaction. It's about pausing between impulse and action, between emotion and response. That sacred pause is where your power lives. Think about a skilled martial artist in a fight. When punches are flying, the untrained person tenses up, flinches, and loses focus. But the master, he breathes. He reads his opponent's movements. He waits for the right moment to strike. Calmness becomes his strength, while his opponent's panic becomes their weakness. That's exactly how life works. The calmer you are, the clearer you see. The clearer you see, the smarter you move. And the smarter you move, the faster you win. Life will never stop testing you. There will be deadlines, losses, betrayals, and moments when everything feels out of your control. You can't change those situations, but you can control your state of mind in them. That's where your true power lies. A calm mind is not fragile, it's flexible. It bends but doesn't break. It adapts instead of resists. When you master calmness, even chaos becomes an opportunity. But calmness doesn't come automatically. It's a muscle that you must train. Just like physical strength, mental stillness is built through repeated practice. Every time you face a stressful moment and choose to breathe instead of explode, you're building that muscle. Every time you choose patience instead of panic, silence instead of shouting, understanding instead of anger, you're strengthening your inner calm. Over time, that becomes your natural state. Meditation, deep breathing, prayer, reflection, these are not just spiritual practices, they are tools to train calmness. When you make stillness a daily discipline, you prepare your mind for storms. You learn to find balance in movement, peace in chaos, and clarity in confusion. The calm person is not lucky, they are trained. They have faced pressure before, and instead of running, they stayed. They sat with discomfort, learned from it, and turned it into their ally. When you are calm, you can see what others cannot. Panic blinds people, calmness gives sight. In a crisis, the calm person becomes the leader, not because they know everything, but because they can think when others can't. The calm mind makes strong decisions because it's not clouded by fear or ego. It can separate what matters from what doesn't. And that's how you win, not by force, but by focus. Look at the greatest leaders, warriors, and thinkers throughout history. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, stayed composed under the heaviest burdens. Buddha sat in silence through storms of doubt. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire while chaos surrounded him, yet he wrote about calmness and control. Bruce Lee said, "Be like water, my friend." Water adapts to everything. It flows around obstacles, never losing its nature. That's the essence of staying calm under pressure. You don't fight the storm, you flow through it. The reason calmness is such a superpower is because it keeps your energy centered. Anger, panic, and fear scatter your energy in every direction. Calmness gathers it back. It keeps you grounded. When your emotions rise, your intelligence drops. But when you remain calm, your logic stays sharp, your intuition stays alive, and your actions stay deliberate. That's how you handle pressure without losing yourself. Sometimes pressure comes not from external problems, but from internal expectations. You might be putting yourself under stress by trying to be perfect, by fearing failure, or by comparing your progress to others. Calmness helps you step back and see things for what they really are. It reminds you that growth takes time, and mistakes are part of mastery. You begin to realize that the weight you feel is not meant to crush you. It's meant to strengthen you. To stay calm under pressure, you must develop a mindset of acceptance. Accept that life won't always go your way. Accept that people will disappoint you. Accept that challenges are not punishments, they're pathways to growth. When you stop fighting reality, peace enters. Calmness is not weakness, it's surrender to truth. And in that surrender, you find unshakable strength. There's a saying, ships don't sink because of the water around them. They sink because of the water that gets inside them. The same applies to your mind. The world around you will always be chaotic, but as long as you don't let that chaos enter you, you will stay afloat. Protect your inner peace like a sacred space. Let nothing disturb the stillness within you. The next time pressure rises, don't rush to react. Step back. Breathe. Observe. Remind yourself, this moment is testing me, not breaking me. Detach from the emotion and focus on the lesson. Train your mind to see through the storm, not just feel it. Every storm will pass, but the strength you build in that storm will stay with you forever. Calmness is mastery in motion. It's what allows a surgeon to operate during a crisis, a pilot to land a plane in turbulence, or a leader to make the right choice during chaos. It's what gives power to those who appear ordinary but perform extraordinarily, because when others lose control, the calm person takes command. In the end, remember this: the world belongs to those who can stay still in the storm. The pressure will always come. It's the nature of growth. But if you can remain calm, focused and steady while everything around you trembles, you'll not only survive, you'll rise. The calm mind doesn't avoid chaos, it transforms it into clarity. And that is the mark of true greatness. So, train your calmness like a muscle. Face pressure with patience. Carry peace in your mind, even when the world shakes your soul. Because when you master calmness, you no longer fear challenges. You welcome them. You understand that storms don't come to destroy you. They come to prepare you for the heights you were born to reach. 8. Learn more than you earn. The world teaches you to chase money, but the wise understand that knowledge is the true currency of success. Money can buy comfort, but knowledge builds empires. Money can disappear overnight, but what you learn stays with you forever. If you want to become the best at anything, you must fall in love with learning, not as a duty, but as a lifelong obsession. Because the more you learn, the more you see, the more you understand, and the more unstoppable you become. The people who rise to the top in any field, science, art, business, or sports, all have one thing in common: an endless curiosity. They never stop learning. They never believe they've made it. They are students for life. Every day, they feed their minds like champions feed their bodies. While most people are chasing the next paycheck or comfort zone, the masters are chasing the next lesson, the next insight, the next discovery that sharpens their edge. Money will always follow knowledge, but knowledge will never follow money. When you make money your master, you start taking shortcuts, losing patience, and chasing quick wins. But when you make learning your foundation, wealth and opportunities flow naturally because you've built real value inside yourself. The more you know, the more problems you can solve, and the world always rewards problem solvers. Learning more than you earn means you invest your time and energy into growth, even when there's no immediate reward. It means reading books while others watch TV, listening to mentors while others gossip, studying your craft while others sleep. Every bit of knowledge you collect becomes a weapon, a tool, and a shield. You may not see the results instantly, but each day your understanding deepens, your perspective widens, and your decisions become wiser. Think about this. Every skill you learn adds another layer of freedom to your life. When you learn communication, you can influence people. When you learn psychology, you understand them. When you learn finance, you control your money. When you learn discipline, you control yourself. Each lesson compounds, creating a version of you that is rare, valuable, and powerful. That's the kind of wealth no one can take away. There's a reason why the greatest investors, creators, and thinkers spend hours reading every day. Warren Buffett reads hundreds of pages daily. Elon Musk taught himself rocket science by reading. Bruce Lee studied philosophy, anatomy, and psychology to enhance his martial art. Knowledge expands your horizon beyond what money ever could. It turns the impossible into the achievable. Because the more you know, the more possibilities appear before you. Learning also keeps your mind humble. The moment you think you know enough, you stop growing. And when growth stops, decay begins. Arrogance kills progress. Humility keeps you learning. The wisest people always admit how little they know, because the more you learn, the more you realize how vast the universe of knowledge truly is. That humility keeps you curious, open, and alive. Don't learn just for information. Learn for transformation. Knowledge is useless if it doesn't change the way you live, think, and act. Every book, every conversation, every experience should shape your perspective and sharpen your judgment. Apply what you learn. Reflect on it. Test it. Let it challenge your old beliefs. Let it push you to grow. Learning is not about collecting facts, it's about evolving as a human being. Another reason to keep learning is because the world changes faster than ever. The skills that made you successful yesterday might make you irrelevant tomorrow. Technology evolves, industries shift, people's needs transform, and only the adaptable survive. To stay relevant, you must keep updating your mind like software. If you stop learning, you stop adapting. And if you stop adapting, the world moves on without you. So never stop being a student. Even when you become an expert, stay curious. Even when people call you a teacher, stay teachable. Listen more than you speak. Observe more than you judge. Every person you meet, every failure you face, every situation you experience can teach you something, if you stay open enough to learn. Learning more than you earn also builds mental strength. It teaches patience and long-term vision. Most people give up on learning because it doesn't pay immediately, but mastery always pays later. The work you do today in silence, the knowledge you gather when no one is watching, will compound over years and place you ahead of thousands who gave up too soon. Knowledge pays in the long run, not in the moment. You might earn a small amount of money today, but if you've learned a lesson worth a lifetime, you're richer than you think. Because one idea, one piece of wisdom, one insight can change your entire destiny. Sometimes one book changes your life more than years of work. One mentor saves you from a decade of mistakes. One deep lesson gives you the clarity to take the right path forever. That's the power of learning. But remember, learning is not easy. It takes humility to admit you don't know. It takes patience to practice something you're bad at. It takes discipline to read, study, and reflect when others relax. But every time you push through that discomfort, you build a new level of understanding that others will never reach. Every hour spent learning adds to your value, even when you can't see it yet. To make learning a habit, schedule it into your life. Set aside time every day to feed your mind. Read something useful. Listen to something inspiring. Study something challenging. Reflect on your day and extract lessons from it. Never let a day pass without learning something new, because the day you stop learning is the day you stop living. And don't limit your learning to books or lectures. Life itself is the greatest teacher. Learn from failures. They are disguised lessons. Learn from criticism. It shows you where to improve. Learn from silence. It teaches you observation. Learn from pain. It deepens your understanding of strength. Every experience carries wisdom if you pay attention. When you dedicate yourself to learning more than you earn, you stop chasing opportunities and start creating them. You become valuable in every room you walk into because you bring insight, perspective, and solutions. People begin to seek your advice. Doors open not because of luck, but because of your growth. Knowledge creates magnetism. It attracts success naturally. In the long game of life, learners always win. You can lose your job, your money, or your status, but if you keep your knowledge, you can rebuild everything. Learning gives you adaptability, confidence, and creativity, the ingredients of resilience. You stop fearing change because you know you can learn your way through anything. So if you truly want to be the best, never let your earnings outgrow your learning. Let your curiosity be stronger than your comfort. Let your hunger for growth be greater than your hunger for validation. Every day, ask yourself, what did I learn today that made me better than I was yesterday? Remember, learning is not something you do until you succeed. It's something you do because you want to keep succeeding. It's the foundation that holds every great life together. When you commit to learning more than you earn, you're not just building wealth, you're building wisdom. And wisdom will take you to places money never can, into peace, purpose, mastery, and meaning. Never forget this truth. Money feeds the body, but knowledge feeds the soul. The first gives you comfort, the second gives you power. The first fades, the second multiplies. Keep learning, keep evolving, because the person who knows more about themselves, their craft, and their world will always rise above the one who only knows how to chase. 9. Build unshakable discipline. If motivation is the spark that starts the fire, discipline is the wood that keeps it burning when the excitement fades. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. One day you wake up feeling unstoppable, the next you can't even get out of bed. But discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline is what makes you do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It is the bridge between your goals and your results. Without discipline, even the most talented person becomes ordinary. With discipline, even the most ordinary person can become extraordinary. People often confuse discipline with punishment, but that's a mistake. Discipline is not suffering, it's self-respect in action. It means you respect your future self enough to sacrifice comfort now. It means you keep promises to yourself when no one is watching. It means you stay committed to your purpose, no matter how many times your emotions try to pull you away. Discipline is love, disguised as effort. It is the way you show yourself that your dreams matter. Every person who has ever achieved mastery, athletes, warriors, scholars, entrepreneurs, shares this one trait: unshakable discipline. They understand that greatness is not built in moments of excitement, but in the repetition of daily effort. They wake up early when their body wants to sleep. They work when no one is watching. They sacrifice pleasure for purpose. They don't chase comfort. They train for excellence. Discipline is not something you are born with. It is something you build, one decision at a time. Each time you do something difficult when you don't want to, you strengthen your willpower. Each time you keep going when others quit, you forge inner steel. Over time, those small choices compound into a level of strength that makes you unstoppable. You stop relying on moods and start relying on systems. You stop waiting for the right time and start creating it. To build discipline, you must first build clarity. You can't be disciplined if you don't know what you're working for. When your goals are vague, your effort will be inconsistent. Define your purpose clearly. What do you want, and why does it matter? When your why is strong enough, your how becomes unbreakable. A person with a clear purpose can endure almost any pain. The stronger your reason, the stronger your discipline. Next, you must master consistency. Discipline is not about intensity, it's about repetition. Most people start with massive bursts of effort and burn out. The disciplined person starts small, but stays consistent. They build habits like bricks, one day at a time. They understand that consistency beats intensity, because consistency creates identity. When you do something every day, it becomes part of who you are. You no longer have to force yourself, you simply live it. But here's the truth. Discipline will test you. It will make you uncomfortable. It will demand sacrifices that most people are unwilling to make. You'll have to wake up early while others sleep. You'll have to say no to temptations that everyone else says yes to. You'll have to be lonely while others socialize. You'll have to keep going when you see no results. And yet, these are the exact moments when discipline does its greatest work. It's building the foundation of your character. There will be days when you doubt yourself, when you question if it's worth it, when quitting feels easier. Those are the moments that separate winners from dreamers. Anyone can stay disciplined when things are easy. Real discipline shows up when everything gets hard. You must learn to embrace the struggle. Because the truth is, struggle is not a sign that you're failing. It's proof that you're growing. Every moment of discomfort is sculpting your future self. Discipline also requires you to master your mind. Your biggest battle is not against the world, it's against your own excuses. Your mind will try to protect you from pain. It will whisper, "You've done enough. Take a break. You can start tomorrow." But tomorrow turns into next week turns into next month, and soon your dream dies quietly in the shadow of your excuses. You must silence that voice. You must become the commander of your mind, not its slave. Start by recognizing your patterns. What triggers your laziness? What distractions steal your time? What habits weaken your focus? Once you identify them, destroy them. Replace them with systems that keep you accountable. For example, if you waste hours on your phone, put it in another room when you work. If you keep missing workouts, schedule them in your calendar like meetings. Don't rely on willpower alone. Build an environment that supports your discipline. Understand that discipline is not a punishment. It's a form of freedom. When you are disciplined, you control your actions instead of being controlled by impulses. You don't need to depend on motivation because your habits carry you. You don't fear failure because you trust your process. You don't chase comfort because you've built inner peace through consistency. Discipline doesn't restrict your life. It liberates you from chaos. Think of your life like a river. Without banks to guide it, water floods everywhere, losing direction and strength. But with strong banks, the water flows with power and purpose. Discipline is those banks. It channels your energy, focus, and potential toward your dreams. Without it, your energy is wasted. With it, your energy becomes unstoppable. Discipline also builds self-respect. Every time you follow through on what you said you'd do, you strengthen your trust in yourself. You stop doubting your abilities because you have evidence of your own consistency. You begin to feel proud, not because of results, but because of integrity. And when you respect yourself, you stop seeking validation from others. You no longer need applause because your discipline becomes your confidence. But to truly make discipline unshakable, you must link it to a higher purpose. If you only practice discipline for external rewards, money, fame, or recognition, it will crumble when the rewards disappear. The strongest discipline comes from a deep inner calling. It comes from doing something because it matters to your soul, because it aligns with your values, because it honors who you are meant to be. That kind of discipline is indestructible. Also, remember to forgive yourself when you fail. No one is perfect. Discipline is not about never falling, it's about never staying down. You will miss days, make mistakes, lose focus. But what defines you is how quickly you return to your path. Don't let guilt become an excuse to quit. Failure is not the opposite of discipline, it's part of it. Every time you fall and stand again, your discipline grows stronger roots. To strengthen your discipline, surround yourself with reminders of your purpose. Keep your vision visible, write it down, post it on your wall, speak it daily. Let it guide your behavior. Protect your environment from negativity, laziness, and distractions. The people you spend time with will either fuel your discipline or destroy it. Choose wisely. Another powerful way to build unshakable discipline is through routines. Routines remove decision fatigue. The more automatic your actions become, the less mental energy you waste fighting with yourself. Wake up at the same time, exercise regularly, plan your day. Keep promises to yourself like sacred vows. Over time, your routine becomes your rhythm, and that rhythm carries you even on your weakest days. Most importantly, you must learn to find peace in effort itself. Don't attach your happiness to outcomes. Discipline means doing your best regardless of results. The reward is not the destination, it's the strength you gain along the way. When you can find satisfaction in effort, when you can find pride in persistence, you become immune to disappointment. Because even if you don't win today, you've still grown stronger. There will come a time when you realize that discipline is not just about work, it's about life. It's how you eat, how you think, how you speak, how you treat others, how you respond to challenges. Discipline is the invisible structure that shapes your destiny. It's the quiet power behind every success story, every masterpiece, every victory. Look at the warriors of old, the monks in the mountains, the leaders of nations, the artists who changed the world. They all lived with discipline. It was their anchor during storms, their light in darkness. They didn't rely on moods or luck. They relied on daily effort, guided by principle. They became legends not because they were superhuman, but because they were consistent when others were inconsistent. And that's what you must understand. You don't need to be extraordinary to start. You just need to be consistent enough to never stop. Discipline turns ordinary people into masters. It transforms potential into power. It's the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. So build your discipline like you're building a fortress. Brick by brick, habit by habit, promise by promise. Guard it fiercely, feed it daily. Let it become part of your identity. Because once you have discipline, no obstacle can truly defeat you. Even when you fail, you'll rise again, because discipline always brings you back. One day, you'll look back and realize that discipline gave you everything you ever wanted. Not because it made things easy, but because it made you stronger. It shaped your character, sharpened your focus, and hardened your resolve. It turned chaos into order, doubt into faith, and weakness into power. Remember this: talent will fade, motivation will fade, even passion will fade, but discipline will stay. It will be your silent partner, your invisible armor, your most loyal companion. When you feel lost, it will guide you. When you feel tired, it will move you. When you feel broken, it will rebuild you. That is unshakable discipline. The quiet strength that never shouts, never shows off, but always wins. The habit of doing what others refuse to do, the power to keep going when everything in you wants to quit. Discipline is not the path to greatness. It is greatness. And once you build it, you'll never have to chase success again. Success will start chasing you. 10. Believe you deserve to be the best. No rule matters more than this one, because everything you do, every effort you make, every mountain you climb will mean nothing if deep down you don't believe you deserve to reach the top. You can follow every habit, every discipline, every method of success, but if your mind whispers, "I'm not enough," your actions will always shrink to match that belief. The mind is the master, and belief is its command. You become what you believe you deserve. The greatest battles are never fought in the ring, the field, or the boardroom. They are fought in the silence of your own mind. Every day, your thoughts either build you or break you. Most people lose long before they even start, not because they lack talent, but because they lack belief. They convince themselves that greatness is reserved for someone else, someone smarter, luckier, more gifted. But that is the biggest lie you can ever believe. Every master, every legend, every champion you've ever admired started with fear, doubt, and uncertainty. The difference is that they believed anyway. Believing you deserve to be the best is not arrogance, it's alignment. It means you understand that the Creator didn't make you to live small, to hide, or to shrink when life gets difficult. You were born with potential, not to exist, but to express it fully. You were made in perfection's image, and your purpose is to honor that gift through growth. True belief is not loud, it's steady. It doesn't need to shout, "I'm great." It moves silently, confidently, knowing it belongs. But how do you build that kind of belief? It doesn't happen overnight. Belief is forged through repetition, self-awareness, and evidence. Every time you take action toward your goals, you build proof that you're capable. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your inner faith. Every small win becomes a stone in the foundation of unshakable belief. You can't talk yourself into confidence. You must act yourself into it. Confidence grows through consistency. To believe you deserve the best, you must first silence the voices that tell you otherwise. Those voices may come from the past, from teachers who doubted you, from parents who criticized you, from friends who laughed at your dreams, or even from your own failures. But remember this, those voices were never speaking truth. They were speaking fear, fear of your potential, fear of your difference, fear of your light. You must learn to replace those voices with your own. Every day tell yourself, "I am worthy, I am capable, I am becoming better." Not because it's magic, but because your mind becomes what it repeatedly hears. The subconscious mind doesn't question, it accepts. It doesn't distinguish between truth and lies. It simply absorbs what you feed it. So if you constantly feed it doubt, it will create limitations. But if you feed it belief, it will create miracles. That's why you must be careful what you say to yourself. Your inner dialogue is your destiny. The way you talk to yourself in silence shapes how you show up in the world. Belief is not built by pretending everything is easy. Real belief is built by facing difficulty and refusing to back down. Every challenge is an invitation to prove to yourself that you're capable. When you push through pain, fear, or failure and still keep going, your belief deepens. You realize that you're stronger than your excuses, bigger than your fears, and tougher than your doubts. That realization transforms you. It doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you are. People often think that success creates confidence, but the truth is reversed. Confidence creates success. You must first believe before the world believes you. The universe doesn't give to the hesitant, it rewards the bold. When you move with conviction, opportunities appear. When you act like you belong, doors open. When you see yourself as valuable, others begin to treat you that way. Life mirrors your belief back to you. But to believe in yourself, you must know yourself. You cannot trust a stranger, and most people are strangers to themselves. They live distracted, disconnected from their own potential. Spend time understanding who you are, your strengths, your weaknesses, your story. Learn what drives you, what inspires you, what hurts you, what heals you. Self-awareness is the soil in which belief grows. The more you understand yourself, the more you respect yourself. And the more you respect yourself, the easier it becomes to believe in your own power. Another truth about belief. It's not about being the best in comparison to others. It's about being the best version of yourself. When you believe you deserve to be the best, it doesn't mean you look down on others. It means you refuse to live beneath your potential. It means you don't settle for mediocrity when excellence is possible. It means you hold yourself to higher standards, not because you have to, but because you want to. Belief gives you permission to demand more from yourself, to expect greatness, not by luck, but by choice. Belief also transforms how you handle failure. When people without belief fail, they see it as proof that they're not good enough. But when believers fail, they see it as feedback, a lesson, a step, a refinement. They understand that every setback carries wisdom. They don't say, "I failed." They say, "I'm learning." This mindset makes them unstoppable because nothing can truly defeat a person who believes they're destined to rise. The strongest belief is quiet. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't need to be proven to anyone else. When you truly believe in yourself, you don't argue with doubters. You outgrow them. You don't explain your vision. You build it. You don't need to announce your worth. You embody it. That's the power of authentic belief. It turns dreams into duties and hope into habit. But belief is fragile if you don't protect it. The world will test your confidence again and again. People will doubt you, criticize you, and try to make you second-guess your path. You'll fail, get rejected, and face moments when it feels like you're moving backward. This is where most people lose faith. But the wise know that belief must be renewed daily. Every morning you must choose it again. You must rebuild it, strengthen it, and feed it, because if you don't, fear will. Protect your belief by surrounding yourself with the right energy. Spend time with people who challenge you, not those who drain you. Listen to voices that inspire, not those that discourage. Read books that expand your mind, not content that feeds your doubt. Your environment shapes your mindset more than you realize. You can't grow confidence in toxic soil. To believe you deserve to be the best, you must also learn the art of patience. Belief doesn't mean expecting instant results. It means trusting the process even when you can't see progress. It means showing up, giving your best, and knowing that what you plant today will bloom in its own time. Impatience kills belief because it ties your worth to outcomes. But when you trust timing, you free yourself from pressure. You understand that greatness takes time and that you're on the right path even when results are slow. Belief also requires humility. Many people confuse confidence with ego, but they are opposites. Ego says, "I'm better than everyone." Confidence says, "I'm becoming better than I was." Ego fears failure. Confidence learns from it. Ego competes for attention. Confidence competes for improvement. True belief is humble because it knows growth never ends. There will be days when your belief feels weak, when your mind tries to convince you that you can't do it. In those moments, look back at how far you've come. Remember the challenges you've already overcome, the storms you've already survived. The fact that you're still standing means you are capable of more than you think. You've already beaten countless versions of your old self. Let that be proof that you can keep going. Belief also grows through gratitude. When you're grateful for how far you've come, you remind yourself that progress is possible. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's growing. It transforms frustration into fuel. When you wake up each day and say, "Thank you for the strength to try again," you're reinforcing your belief in yourself and in life. You're telling your mind, "I am still in the game." One of the greatest secrets about belief is this: you don't need anyone else to believe in you. You don't need your friends, your family, or your teachers to see your vision. You don't need permission. All you need is one believer, you. The moment you decide that you are enough, that you have what it takes, the world starts to move differently around you. The people who once ignored you start to notice. The doors that were closed begin to open, because the universe responds to energy, not words, and belief radiates power. But never forget, belief without action is fantasy. You can't just say you believe, you must live it. Belief should be visible in your discipline, your focus, your choices. Every day ask yourself, does my behavior match my belief? If you say you want to be the best, are you training like it? Are you learning like it? Are you sacrificing like it? Belief is proven not by what you say, but by what you do when it's hard. To reach your full potential, you must build belief at every level, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Mentally, through focus and learning. Emotionally, through resilience and gratitude. Spiritually, through faith and purpose. These three layers create a foundation so strong that no amount of failure can shake it. That's how champions are built, from the inside out. And when your belief becomes unshakable, your energy changes. You walk differently, talk differently, and think differently. You stop seeking validation because you know your value. You stop fearing failure because you know it can't destroy you. You stop doubting your worth because you understand that you were never meant to live small. You were meant to grow, to create, to lead, to shine. Believing you deserve to be the best is not about pride. It's about purpose. It's about recognizing that you have a responsibility to use the gifts you've been given. The world doesn't need another person who doubts themselves. It needs people who are fully alive, fully confident, fully awake. The best version of you doesn't just serve you, it serves everyone around you. When you rise, others see what's possible. Your belief becomes a light that guides others out of their own darkness. So, believe deeply, believe fiercely, believe relentlessly. Because the moment you truly believe you deserve to be the best, your mind will start finding ways to make it happen. You'll attract the right opportunities, the right people, and the right moments. You'll stop sabotaging yourself and start supporting yourself. You'll stop asking, "Can I do this?" and start saying, "How can I make this work?" That's the mindset that changes everything. In the end, greatness is not given. It's claimed. It's claimed by those who believe they deserve it, those who act on that belief daily, and those who never let fear silence their faith. So look in the mirror and remind yourself, you belong at the top, not because someone said so, but because you decided to. Every dream you have is proof that you're capable of achieving it. Every goal you imagine is already within reach. Belief is what bridges the gap. You don't need to wait for a sign, a miracle, or someone's approval. The sign is already in your heart, the quiet voice that says, "You were made for more." And that voice is right. When you finally believe that you deserve to be the best, you'll stop chasing the life you want and start creating it. You'll stop waiting for confidence to come and start building it through action. You'll stop hoping for miracles because you'll realize you are one. That's when everything changes, because belief is the seed from which all greatness grows. Nurture it, protect it, live it, and one day you'll look back and realize that you didn't just become the best, you became everything you were always meant to be. 11. The power of never giving up. Every person who has ever achieved greatness carries one common trait, not brilliance, not luck, not privilege, but the unbreakable will to never give up. The world often celebrates success, but rarely does it talk about the endless failures, sleepless nights, and invisible battles that built it. Behind every champion's story is 1,000 moments where quitting felt easier, where the mind whispered, "This isn't worth it." But the difference between those who make it and those who fade away is simple. The ones who make it refuse to stop. When you decide to never give up, you are not making a promise to the world. You are making a promise to yourself. You are saying, no matter how many times I fall, I will rise. No matter how long it takes, I will keep walking. It's not about being fearless. It's about facing fear again and again until it has no power left over you. Life will test you, break you, and try to convince you to give up. And when it does, your refusal to surrender becomes your greatest weapon. Every great story in history is built on perseverance. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before creating the light bulb. Colonel Sanders was rejected hundreds of times before someone believed in his recipe. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter changed the world. The list goes on. What do these people have in common? They didn't quit when the world told them to. They saw failure not as a wall, but as a doorway, one that opens only for those who keep knocking. Giving up is the easiest thing in the world to do. It requires no strength, no vision, no courage. But holding on, that's where transformation begins. Every time you refuse to quit, you train your spirit to become stronger than your struggles. You prove to yourself that your willpower is greater than your pain. And every moment you endure builds a deeper level of resilience that no comfort zone can ever give you. But persistence isn't just about stubbornness. It's about strategy. Never giving up doesn't mean doing the same thing forever. It means refusing to give up on your purpose, even if you have to change your approach. Sometimes the road will twist, the path will shift, and your plan will fail. That's normal. What matters is that your commitment remains. The dream may stay the same, but the route may change 100 times. Adaptation is strength, not surrender. One of the biggest reasons people give up is because they can't see progress. You work hard, and the results don't show. You pour your heart into something, and nothing moves. That's when frustration creeps in. But here's the truth. Progress often hides. Growth happens beneath the surface, silently, invisibly. Like a seed in the soil, you can't see it yet. But roots are forming, strength is building, and momentum is gathering. The ones who keep watering their effort eventually break through. The ones who quit just before the breakthrough never realize how close they were. Never giving up requires faith, not blind faith, but faith in your process, in your discipline, in your reason for starting. It means trusting that every small step matters, even when no one sees it. It means believing that your journey has value, even when it feels uncertain. And it means understanding that patience is not waiting. Patience is working while you wait. To truly live by the rule of never giving up, you must redefine your relationship with failure. Most people see failure as the opposite of success. It's not. Failure is the path to success. Every failed attempt carries wisdom. Every mistake refines your methods. Every rejection redirects you closer to what will work. The only real failure is quitting, because that's when growth stops. The moment you give up, all the lessons, all the effort, all the potential die with it. You must also learn to silence the voices that tell you to stop. Sometimes those voices come from others, people who project their fears onto you, who tell you it's too hard, too risky, too late. But sometimes the loudest voice is the one inside your own head, the voice that says, "You're not good enough," or "What's the point?" That voice feeds on your doubt, your fatigue, your insecurity. To overcome it, you must feed your mind with strength. You must speak life into your own goals. When the inner voice says, "You can't," you respond, "Watch me." Persistence is built one decision at a time. Every time you feel like giving up but choose not to, you strengthen your inner armor. Every time you continue despite pain, you remind your mind who's in charge. Over time, that becomes a habit, an instinct. Giving up stops being an option. You stop seeking the exit, and you start looking for the lesson. You stop fearing setbacks, and you start embracing them as steps. Sometimes life will bring you to your knees, not to break you, but to humble you. You will fail, you will fall, you will question your path, you will feel the weight of discouragement pressing on your chest. But in those moments you must remember that the comeback is always stronger than the setback. The universe doesn't reward speed, it rewards endurance. The one who stays the longest wins. The truth is, quitting doesn't remove the pain. It only replaces it with regret. Pain is temporary. Regret lasts forever. The discomfort you feel while striving is the cost of growth. The pain of quitting is the price of giving up on your potential. When you push through struggle, you grow stronger. When you surrender, you stay stuck. Every time you resist quitting, you prove that you're worthy of the reward waiting on the other side. To never give up, you must master your emotions. There will be days when you feel drained, angry, hopeless. Discipline, not emotion, must drive your actions. You don't have to feel strong to act strong. Some of your most powerful moments will come on your weakest days. Courage isn't the absence of pain. It's the choice to keep moving in spite of it. Another secret: when you feel like giving up, it's often because you're closer to the goal than you think. The hardest part of any journey is the final stretch, the point where everything feels heavy, where your effort feels invisible, where your spirit feels empty. But that's exactly when breakthroughs happen. That's when life tests how badly you want it. The pain you feel just before success isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign of birth. You're being stretched into a stronger version of yourself. Never giving up doesn't mean you won't rest. Rest is part of resilience. Even warriors need to breathe. Taking a break is not quitting. Quitting is when you stop believing that what you're doing matters. Rest if you must, but don't stop. Every pause can be a recharge, every recovery a renewal. You're not behind, you're preparing for another round. You must also remember that perseverance isn't just about personal ambition, it's about purpose. When your purpose is bigger than yourself, giving up becomes harder. If you're doing it for your family, your community, your faith, your legacy, then you'll find strength even in exhaustion. The moment you tie your persistence to something larger than ego, you tap into infinite energy. Purpose gives pain meaning. Look at nature. Even the strongest storms don't last forever. Even the darkest night ends in dawn. Every cycle of hardship eventually gives way to renewal. The same law applies to you. No matter how long the struggle, it will pass. No matter how hard the climb, there is always a peak. You must endure long enough to see it. The key is to hold on just one more day, one more step, one more try. Because one extra step has changed the fate of countless people who refused to give up when everyone else did. You might not always move fast. Sometimes progress feels painfully slow, but persistence is not about speed, it's about direction. Keep walking toward your dream, even if it's 1 inch at a time. The turtle reaches the finish line not because it's fast, but because it never stops moving. Consistency, not intensity, wins the race. When you choose not to give up, you begin to attract resilience in every form. Your mindset hardens, your confidence deepens, and your energy becomes magnetic. People start to notice. They see your drive, your patience, your strength, and they begin to respect it. Some will even draw inspiration from it. Your refusal to quit becomes a silent message to others. If I can endure, so can you. That's how persistence spreads, one soul igniting another. In time, you'll realize that not giving up doesn't just build success, it builds you. It sculpts your mind into something powerful, unshakable, unstoppable. The person who has suffered, fallen, and risen countless times is unbreakable, because once you've seen yourself survive the worst, nothing can scare you anymore. One day, you will look back at the moments you wanted to quit and realize they were the turning points of your life. You'll see that every setback taught you something essential: patience, strength, faith, humility. You'll realize that life was never testing your ability to start. It was testing your ability to continue. Because anyone can start, few can stay. So don't let temporary pain steal permanent peace. Don't let momentary defeat define your destiny. The road is long, yes, but the view from the top will be worth every scar, every tear, every sleepless night. The world belongs to those who endure, who keep going when no one claps, who walk alone when no one believes. Remember this rule, carved deep into the law of life. It's always too soon to quit. When your legs are tired, walk with your heart. When your heart is tired, walk with your faith. And when even faith feels weak, just take one more step, because one step forward, no matter how small, is still movement toward victory. Never give up, not because it's easy, not because it guarantees success, but because it honors who you are becoming. The fire that doesn't stop burning becomes light for others. Your perseverance will outlast your pain, and one day it will become the story that inspires someone else to keep going. 12. The strength of believing when no one else does. There comes a point in every person's journey where the world goes silent, where the applause fades, the encouragement stops, and all that's left is you and your dream. It's the point where people stop believing in you. They stop seeing what you see. They tell you to be realistic, to give up, to settle for less. That's the moment when most give in, when they trade their dreams for comfort and their vision for approval. But the few who rise above mediocrity, the ones who build legacies that echo through generations, are those who continue to believe even when no one else does. Believing when no one believes in you is one of the hardest things in life. It's standing in darkness and still trusting that light exists. It's walking a path alone, with only faith as your companion. It's holding on to something invisible but real, a fire in your soul that no amount of doubt can extinguish. The greatest victories are born in those lonely moments of belief. When you have a dream, don't expect everyone to understand it. People can only see from the level of their own vision. They interpret your potential through the lens of their limitations. They may not be against you. They just can't comprehend the size of what's inside you. They'll tell you your idea is impossible, your goals are too big, your expectations too high. But remember, people laughed at the Wright brothers when they said humans could fly. They mocked Edison when he failed hundreds of times. They rejected Oprah, doubted Mandela, ridiculed Muhammad Ali, and underestimated countless others. Yet every one of those individuals chose to believe when no one else did, and that belief changed the course of history. When no one believes in you, the silence becomes your teacher. It forces you to turn inward, to find your voice, your reason, and your strength. It's in that silence that your real power is forged. You stop depending on validation and start building self-reliance. You stop seeking applause and start seeking progress. You realize that the only person who truly needs to believe is you. Belief is not about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. When you keep going despite doubt, you are not just chasing success. You are becoming someone who cannot be broken by circumstance. That's what belief does. It transforms weakness into resilience, uncertainty into courage, loneliness into purpose. But let's be honest, it's not easy. There will be days when you wake up questioning everything, when your dream feels foolish, when your work feels invisible, when your faith feels thin. You'll hear the voices of doubt, not just from others but from within. Maybe they're right. Maybe I can't do this. In those moments you must speak louder than your fears. You must tell yourself, I will not let their doubt define my destiny. Understand this truth. Most people give up on belief because they mistake slow progress for no progress. They plant a seed and expect a tree by morning. But belief is not built in the rhythm of impatience. It's built in the rhythm of persistence. You must nurture it through the droughts, through the storms, through the seasons when nothing seems to grow. Because one day, that seed you protected in silence will bloom in ways that make the world take notice. When no one believes in you, use their doubt as fuel. Every time someone says, you can't, let it echo in your mind as, watch me. Let rejection become your motivation. Let disbelief sharpen your focus. There's something powerful about being underestimated. It gives you the freedom to build without noise, to grow without pressure, to rise without being watched. And when you finally emerge, your results will speak louder than any opinion ever could. The truth is, belief doesn't make the path easier. It makes you stronger. It gives you the courage to keep going, even when everything around you says, stop. It gives you clarity when the road is foggy, hope when doors slam shut, and strength when your energy runs low. That's the power of inner faith. It doesn't depend on evidence, it creates it. Think about the great inventors, artists, and leaders who changed the world. They didn't have guarantees. They had grit. They didn't wait for permission. They gave it to themselves. They faced rejection, failure, and humiliation, yet they held their belief like a shield. They knew something most people never learn. Belief is not a reaction to success. It's the reason success exists. You must train your belief like a muscle. Every time doubt appears, challenge it. Replace "I can't" with "I'm learning." Replace "It's too late" with "My time is coming." Replace "No one believes in me" with "I believe in me enough for all of them." Every thought you repeat becomes a program in your subconscious mind. Feed it with faith, and your mind will start building the strength to match. Also understand that belief is not blind optimism. It's not pretending everything is fine when it isn't. It's having the courage to look at reality with all its flaws, difficulties, and pain, and still say, "I will make it through." Belief doesn't ignore fear. It faces it. It doesn't deny struggle. It transforms it. It doesn't wait for certainty. It acts despite uncertainty. When no one believes in you, life is giving you a sacred opportunity to build your faith from the ground up. Because when you finally succeed, you'll know it wasn't luck or approval that brought you there. It was your refusal to let go when everything around you told you to. You'll realize that belief built your foundation, discipline raised your walls, and perseverance crowned your roof. Every time you move forward without support, you're building something rare: self-trust. Most people depend on external validation to keep going, but when you learn to rely on your own conviction, you become unshakable. You stop being controlled by opinions because you've already proven to yourself what you're capable of. You stop needing to convince others because you've already convinced the only person who matters, you. But to sustain that belief, you must protect it fiercely. Doubt is contagious. Surround yourself with people who bring light, not shadows. Find voices that encourage growth, not fear. If your circle doesn't believe in your potential, build a new circle, even if it's just you at the start. Remember, solitude is better than company that weakens your faith. Believing alone can feel heavy at times, but that weight is what builds your inner strength. Every lonely night you spend working, every rejection you face, every setback you endure, it's all shaping you. The universe hides its rewards behind hardship because only those with true belief will persist long enough to earn them. There's a quote that says, "Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase." That's what belief is. You may not know how, when, or where it will work out, but you trust that it will. You trust that every effort is leading somewhere, even when you can't see the destination yet. Belief turns confusion into clarity and delay into development. The people who eventually believe in you, the ones who support, praise, and celebrate you, will only come after you've proven what you always knew inside. The world follows results, not dreams. That's why you must walk by belief before you can walk by recognition. Your job is not to make them believe, it's to make yourself undeniable. When you finally reach your breakthrough, when success begins to show, people will say things like, "You're lucky," or "I always knew you'd make it." They'll rewrite history to match your outcome. But you'll know the truth. You'll remember the nights you wanted to quit, the tears that no one saw, the prayers whispered in silence. You'll know that your belief was not luck. It was labor. It was the quiet fire that burned when everything else went dark. Belief is more than a mindset. It's an energy. It vibrates from your actions, your tone, your posture, your decisions. When you truly believe, it shows in how you carry yourself. You stop moving like someone who's begging for a chance and start moving like someone who's already claimed it. You stop seeking permission and start taking responsibility. You become magnetic, not because of arrogance, but because your energy says, "I'm sure of who I am." But even after you've proven yourself, you must continue believing like it's day one. The moment you stop believing, growth stops. Every new level of life will test your confidence again. New challenges will demand stronger faith. That's why belief is not something you build once. It's something you renew daily. It's a habit, a practice, a way of living. To strengthen your belief, create evidence of progress. Write down your goals, your milestones, your victories. When you doubt yourself, look back and see how far you've come. Let your history remind you of your strength. When you face new obstacles, remind yourself, "I've overcome before, I can overcome again." The best proof of future success is past perseverance. You will have moments where you feel alone, misunderstood, or invisible, but those moments are not punishment, they're preparation. The silence is teaching you to depend on your purpose. The loneliness is teaching you to trust yourself. The waiting is teaching you patience. Every struggle is a lesson disguised as hardship. So, when no one believes in you, believe harder. When doors close, build your own. When people doubt, let your results answer. When fear speaks, let your faith shout louder. Because the truth is, the world doesn't give you belief. You give it to yourself. And once you truly believe, nothing can stop you. Not rejection, not failure, not time, not circumstances. Because belief gives you endurance, and endurance beats everything. The people who laughed at you will one day applaud you. The ones who doubted you will quote you. But that won't even matter, because you'll know you were always enough, even when they couldn't see it. Never forget this. Belief is the foundation of all greatness. It's the fire that lights your path when the world goes dark. It's the shield that protects you when life throws storms. It's the voice inside that whispers, "Keep going," when everything else screams, "Stop." So even if no one claps, believe. Even if no one helps, believe. Even if no one sees the vision, believe. Because one day that belief will become your reality. One day the same people who doubted you will ask how you did it. And you'll smile, because you'll know the truth. You didn't need them to believe. You just needed you. 13. Master the art of patience. Greatness takes time. We live in a world that worships speed, fast results, instant success, overnight fame. Everyone wants to achieve greatness, but few are willing to wait for it. The modern mind has forgotten one of the oldest, most sacred truths of life. Everything meaningful takes time. The tallest trees grow the slowest. The strongest minds are forged over years of struggle. The most beautiful souls are shaped through seasons of silence and storms. Patience is not weakness. It is the quiet strength that separates those who quit early from those who finish strong. To master anything, your mind, your craft, your destiny, you must master patience. Patience is not simply waiting, it's what you do while you wait. It's the discipline of trusting the process even when you can't see the results. It's the ability to keep watering the seed long before you see it sprout. And it's the courage to stay calm when everything around you tempts you to rush. Most people fail not because they lack potential, but because they lose patience. They start with excitement, fueled by motivation and hope. But when the results don't appear as fast as they expected, they give up. They think something's wrong with them, when in truth, nothing is wrong. They just stopped too soon. Every great thing has a natural rhythm of growth. You cannot harvest in the season of planting. You cannot rush what is still forming. You can only stay faithful and let time reveal what effort began. Patience is the ultimate test of faith. It asks, do you trust the process even when you don't see progress? It challenges your ego, which wants control. It humbles you, reminding you that mastery is not about speed, but about depth. In a world addicted to immediate gratification, patience is rebellion. It's choosing depth over distraction, focus over frenzy, and quality over quantity. Think about a sculptor shaping a statue. Every strike of the hammer seems small, repetitive and meaningless, until one day the form appears. Each tap, each scrape, each detail mattered. The same happens in your life. Every small action, every quiet hour of effort, every unnoticed improvement is shaping something magnificent inside you. You may not see it yet, but the transformation is happening beneath the surface. The impatient person digs up the seed to check if it's growing. The patient one trusts the unseen. That trust becomes peace. The impatient person wants results now, but ends up breaking what could have blossomed later. The patient one understands timing, that everything has its appointed hour. You can't force the sunrise, you can only prepare to meet it. Every champion, every master, every wise person you admire has endured long seasons of waiting. They trained for years before success arrived. They worked in silence while no one noticed. They faced rejection after rejection, yet they persisted. Why? Because they knew that true success isn't about getting there quickly. It's about staying long enough to become the kind of person who deserves it. Patience doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing the right thing for as long as it takes. It means learning, refining, adjusting, improving, day by day, without losing hope. It's showing up even when it's boring. It's doing the work even when no one claps. It's trusting that each small step matters, even if you don't yet see the destination. When you rush, you lose depth. You make mistakes. You settle for mediocrity. The impatient person moves fast, but breaks easily. The patient person moves slowly, but builds something that lasts. Remember, you can sprint toward small goals, but you can only walk toward greatness. The path to mastery is not a race, it's a ritual. Patience also gives you perspective. When you're in a hurry, every delay feels like a disaster. But when you step back and see the bigger picture, you realize that detours are not denials, they're directions. Life delays you not to punish you, but to prepare you. Sometimes you're not ready yet. Sometimes the thing you want isn't ready yet. Sometimes the timing needs to align perfectly, and that takes time. Look at nature. It never rushes, yet everything gets done. The seasons unfold in their own rhythm. A river doesn't force its flow, it carves its path one drop at a time. Mountains aren't formed in a day. Flowers bloom only when they're meant to. The universe is built on patience, and so is greatness. Impatience, on the other hand, is rooted in fear. The fear of being left behind. The fear of not achieving enough. The fear that if it doesn't happen now, it never will. But fear speeds you up only to slow you down later. Patience, however, is built on trust. The trust that everything meant for you will arrive when you are ready. When you trust time, you gain peace. You see, time is not your enemy. It's your greatest ally, if you learn to work with it. Time teaches you what effort cannot. Time tests your endurance, your sincerity, your devotion. Anyone can stay committed for a week, a month, or a year, but only the patient can stay committed for as long as it takes. Time rewards the steady, not the swift. Patience is not passive, it's powerful. It allows you to stay focused on what matters without being distracted by what doesn't. It teaches you endurance, emotional balance, and self-control. It protects you from the chaos of urgency. It gives you mental clarity to make wise decisions, not impulsive ones. It sharpens your character, because if you can stay calm in waiting, you can stay strong in anything. There's a hidden beauty in patience. It transforms frustration into faith. It teaches you to stop chasing and start trusting. You begin to understand that things are already moving for you, even when you can't see them. The opportunities you're praying for, the people you're meant to meet, the dreams you're building, they're aligning in ways beyond your sight. Patience is how you stay grounded, while the universe rearranges itself to bring you what you're working for. But let's be real. Being patient is not easy. Waiting hurts. Silence feels heavy. Seeing others succeed faster can make you doubt your path. You'll ask, why not me? Why not now? But patience whispers, your time is coming. When you stay patient, you stay in alignment with your destiny. You stop forcing what's not meant for you and start attracting what is. You stop rushing toward mistakes and start walking toward miracles. True patience comes when you stop measuring time and start measuring growth. Ask yourself not, how long will it take, but how much have I learned? Not, why isn't it happening, but who am I becoming while I wait? The waiting season is where wisdom grows, where humility deepens, and where strength matures. Don't waste it complaining. Use it to prepare. In every dreamer's story, there's a waiting chapter. The chapter where nothing seems to happen, yet everything is being built behind the scenes. The foundation of every success story is formed in that invisible stage. What separates the impatient from the unstoppable is the ability to endure the unseen. If you can remain faithful during that season, life will reward you in ways beyond imagination. Patience also brings emotional mastery. When you're patient, you stop reacting and start responding. You stop chasing instant pleasure and start investing in long-term peace. You stop looking for shortcuts and start building real skill. The impatient mind is restless. The patient mind is powerful. When you can wait calmly, you gain control over yourself. And the one who controls himself controls everything. Many people ask for greatness, but reject the time it requires. They want the mountain's view, but not the mountain's climb. They want success without seasons of struggle. But nature doesn't work that way, and neither does life. Every strong soul has been tempered in time. Every wise heart has endured silence. Every patient person has suffered, but they've turned that suffering into strength. Patience also refines your relationship with failure. When you're patient, you don't see failure as the end. You see it as part of the process. You understand that each setback is a correction, not a curse. Every detour is redirection. Every pause has a purpose. The impatient give up at the first obstacle. The patient keep adjusting, learning, and improving until they break through. There will be moments when nothing seems to work, when doors remain closed, when prayers seem unanswered. That's when your faith in patience will be tested the most. You'll feel forgotten, but you're not. You're being formed. You'll feel delayed, but you're being developed. You'll feel lost, but you're being guided. The pause before the breakthrough is always the hardest part, but it's also the most important. So, what can you do while you wait? Grow, refine your craft, strengthen your character, deepen your gratitude. Prepare yourself so thoroughly that when the opportunity comes, you don't rise by luck, you rise by readiness. The waiting season is not wasted time, it's training time. Remember this truth: what comes fast rarely lasts, but what's built with patience becomes unbreakable. The slow fire burns the brightest. The slow build stands the longest. The slow learner masters the deepest lessons. Don't envy those who rise quickly. Their foundation is often shallow. Instead, take pride in your pace, because while they rush, you're being rooted. Patience is not about sitting still. It's about moving steadily. It's about walking in rhythm with time, not against it. Every second you remain patient, you're mastering yourself. And the person who masters patience becomes untouchable. In the end, you'll realize that the wait was never a delay, it was protection. Life was keeping you from things you weren't ready for. Every closed door, every unanswered prayer, every long silence was preparing you for the version of yourself who could handle what's coming. When your time finally arrives, you'll look back and thank the waiting. Because patience didn't just build your success, it built you. It shaped your strength, humbled your ego, and sharpened your vision. It taught you to move in faith, not fear. It transformed you from someone who wanted fast results into someone who builds lasting impact. So, be patient, not because it's easy, but because it's wise. Trust the process. Honor the season you're in. Your growth may be invisible today, but it's not imaginary. Every effort, every delay, every quiet moment is part of a masterpiece still in progress. Don't rush it. Live it. The power of self-discipline. Becoming the master of your own life. If there is one quality that separates those who dream from those who achieve, those who wish from those who build, it is self-discipline. Motivation might start the fire, but only discipline keeps it burning through the cold nights of doubt, fatigue, and failure. Discipline is the invisible architecture of greatness, the daily structure that turns ordinary habits into extraordinary results. Without it, talent is wasted, intelligence is scattered, and potential remains unrealized. With it, even an average person can become unstoppable. To understand self-discipline, you must first understand freedom. Most people believe discipline restricts freedom, but the truth is the opposite. Discipline creates freedom. When you master yourself, you are no longer controlled by impulse, mood, or distraction. You don't wake up and wonder what to do. Your direction is already chosen. You don't depend on luck or motivation to move. Your habits carry you forward. Real freedom is not doing whatever you want whenever you want. It's having the strength to do what is right, even when it's hard. The disciplined person is a master sculptor, and the self is the marble. Every action, every habit, every decision is a strike of the chisel. Each cut may seem small, but over time it shapes character, focus, and destiny. This process is not glamorous. Discipline rarely looks heroic. It looks like routine. It's waking up early when you don't feel like it. It's practicing your craft when no one is watching. It's saying no to temptation even when it whispers your name. Discipline is quiet, repetitive, sometimes lonely, but it's the grindstone that sharpens every great life. At its core, self-discipline is self-respect. It's the recognition that your time, energy, and goals are worth protecting. You keep your promises not because someone is forcing you, but because you value your own word. You don't break commitments to yourself any more than you would to someone you love. That internal integrity, doing what you said you'd do, even when it's hard, builds a confidence no compliment can match. When you can trust yourself, the world cannot shake you. The undisciplined person lives as a servant to emotion. When they feel good, they work hard. When they feel tired, they quit. When they feel inspired, they start. When they feel bored, they stop. Their life becomes a roller coaster of moods instead of a steady climb toward purpose. But the disciplined person does what must be done regardless of feeling. They have learned to act from commitment, not convenience. That's why they keep growing when everyone else stalls. Every act of discipline strengthens the mind, like lifting weights strengthens the body. Each repetition, each decision to stay consistent, thickens your mental armor. The first days are hardest because you are rewiring years of conditioning. Your brain resists change. It craves comfort. But the moment you push through resistance once, you prove to yourself that you can. Do it again, and the resistance weakens. Keep going, and eventually discipline becomes identity. You stop saying, "I'm trying to be disciplined," and start saying, "I am disciplined." That shift is everything. Self-discipline begins with small victories. You don't conquer mountains overnight. You climb them step by step. Start by mastering your mornings. Wake up at the time you said you would. Control your focus. Choose where your attention goes. Control your body. Eat and move with purpose. Control your emotions. Respond, don't react. Each of these small wins compounds. Over time, your life becomes a reflection of thousands of tiny choices done right. Discipline is also about priorities. You can't do everything, but you can do what matters most. The disciplined person knows what to say no to. They understand that every yes carries a cost. They protect their energy like treasure. They don't waste time arguing, gossiping, or chasing every shiny distraction. They live with focus. Their attention is a laser, not a floodlight, because they know that concentration, not chaos, builds empires. But discipline is not cold rigidity. It's not punishment or deprivation. True discipline is guided by purpose, not perfection. It's flexible when necessary, compassionate when you fall, but firm in direction. It understands that consistency is more powerful than intensity. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep showing up. Discipline allows you to fail without quitting, to rest without losing momentum, to pause without giving up. Still, building discipline means facing your inner resistance, that voice that always looks for the easier path. It whispers, "You've done enough. You deserve a break. Start tomorrow." This voice never disappears, but with discipline, you stop obeying it. You learn to move even when it protests. Each time you ignore that voice, it loses strength. Each time you obey discipline instead of distraction, you reclaim more of your power. To make discipline permanent, anchor it to a vision. If you don't know why you're being disciplined, you won't last. The why is what fuels the how. When your discipline serves a greater purpose, your family, your craft, your calling, your faith, it becomes sacred. You stop seeing effort as suffering and start seeing it as devotion. That's when discipline transforms from something you do into something you are. Every master, every athlete, every monk, every leader understands this truth. Emotion is temporary, but discipline endures. Emotion says, "I don't feel like it." Discipline says, "Do it anyway." Emotion says, "This is too hard." Discipline says, "You've done harder things before." Emotion seeks comfort. Discipline seeks growth. Emotion is impulsive. Discipline is intelligent. The moment you begin to follow discipline instead of emotion, your entire life changes trajectory. One of the hardest lessons about discipline is delayed gratification, the art of waiting for a greater reward. The undisciplined mind wants pleasure now and pain later. The disciplined mind endures pain now for greater pleasure later. Every time you delay gratification, you strengthen willpower. You prove that you, not your urges, are in control. Over years, this small difference compounds into an unrecognizable gap between the disciplined and the distracted. Consider the athlete who trains every morning at 4 a.m. They don't see results after one day, 1 week, or even 1 month, but they keep going. They trust the process. Then, one day, everything clicks. The endurance, the power, the timing. What looked impossible becomes instinct. That's the reward of discipline. Effort that once felt impossible becomes effortless. The same applies to every area of life: business, art, relationships, spirituality. The disciplined person keeps sowing even when they see no harvest. Because they know that invisible progress is still progress. They know that each day of effort builds unseen momentum, and one day the results appear so suddenly that people call it overnight success. But those who lived the process know it took years of disciplined silence to become an overnight story. Discipline also protects you from regret. Most people don't suffer because they worked too hard. They suffer because they quit too early. They live haunted by the thought, "What if I had stayed consistent?" Regret is the price of undisciplined living, but the disciplined sleep peacefully. Even if they fall short, they rest, knowing they gave everything. They have no what-ifs, only lessons. To strengthen discipline, embrace structure. Plan your days. Guard your mornings. Reflect at night. Keep promises to yourself like contracts. Remove temptation from your environment. Create rituals that anchor you. The more predictable your habits, the stronger your willpower becomes, because every decision you automate frees mental energy for creativity and purpose. And remember, self-discipline is not about control over others, it's about control over yourself. It's about managing your thoughts, words, and actions so they align with your highest values. The disciplined person doesn't seek domination. They seek harmony between what they say, what they do, and who they are. There will be days when discipline feels like a burden, when fatigue whispers that it's okay to take the easy way, when progress feels invisible and the reward too far away. In those moments, remind yourself why you started. Think of the person you are becoming. Greatness doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do repeatedly. Discipline is not the enemy of joy. It is the foundation of lasting joy because it gives your life direction, meaning, and self-trust. Self-discipline is also spiritual. It's a dialogue between your higher self and your lower self. The disciplined voice saying, "I know you're tired, but we're not done yet." It's the voice that refuses to let comfort steal your calling. It's the guardian of your destiny, keeping you aligned with what truly matters. When you live with discipline, you live with integrity. Your actions begin to reflect your purpose. One of the most powerful aspects of discipline is its ripple effect. When you master one area of your life, fitness, work, study, prayer, that discipline spreads into other areas. You begin to eat better, think clearer, love deeper, live more intentionally. Discipline is contagious within your own soul. It creates order out of chaos. But discipline without compassion turns rigid. You must balance firmness with forgiveness. If you slip, if you fail, if you miss a day, don't destroy your progress with guilt. Discipline is about returning, not perfection. The strongest people aren't those who never fall, they're those who get back up faster every time. Forgive yourself quickly, learn the lesson, and resume the path. Over time, you'll notice something profound. Discipline becomes peace. The structure you once resisted becomes the rhythm that brings calm. You stop feeling overwhelmed because your priorities are clear. You stop doubting yourself because your habits prove your capability. You no longer live chasing emotions. You live guided by principles. That is freedom, the freedom earned through self-discipline. Eventually, discipline becomes invisible. It stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like identity. You don't have to convince yourself to stay consistent. Consistency is who you are. You don't have to fight distraction. Focus is your default. You don't have to chase motivation. Momentum carries you. That's when life begins to flow, when effort turns into ease because discipline has reprogrammed your nature. At that point, you realize something extraordinary. Discipline was never about control. It was about love. Love for your craft, love for your future, love for your potential. You weren't forcing yourself. You were honoring yourself. The discipline that once felt like sacrifice becomes devotion, a sacred practice that connects you to your highest self. So master self-discipline, not because it's glamorous, but because it's necessary. Not because it's easy, but because it's powerful. Build it patiently, protect it fiercely, and live by it daily. Because discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality, between potential and performance, between who you are and who you are destined to become. And when the world looks at you and says, "You're so lucky," you'll smile quietly, knowing luck had nothing to do with it. It was discipline, the early mornings, the lonely hours, the quiet focus, the repeated choices to do what's right instead of what's easy. That's what built your strength. The mind of steel is not a gift. It's a decision to rise every time you fall, to think clearly when emotions cloud judgment, to keep faith when logic fails, to remain kind even when the world isn't, and to keep going even when no one believes in you. One day, when you look back, you'll realize that the storms didn't break you, they built you. Every hardship you survived was shaping your mind, sharpening your will, and preparing you for the heights you were destined to reach. And when others crumble under pressure, you will stand, Not because life was easy, but because you trained your mind to be stronger than the storm. When you look back at the journey, every lesson, every challenge, every quiet moment of struggle, you'll see that becoming the best at anything was never about one single act of brilliance. It was about becoming someone who refused to stop growing. Every rule, every principle, every hardship you faced shaped you into something rare. A person who doesn't just chase greatness, but embodies it. The truth is, mastery is not a destination. It's a lifestyle. It's waking up each day with purpose, doing the small things that others overlook, and holding yourself accountable even when no one else is watching. It's falling and rising again and again until failure no longer scares you. It's walking alone when the crowd goes the other way, trusting that the right people and moments will align with your persistence. Becoming the best doesn't mean being better than others. It means being better than you were yesterday, stronger in mind, calmer in heart, clearer in purpose. It's choosing growth over comfort, peace over chaos, and consistency over excuses. The best don't chase attention, they chase mastery. They don't seek to impress, they seek to improve. And they never wait for permission to evolve. Life will test every rule you've learned. You'll be tempted to quit, to doubt, to compromise. But remember, every time you stay patient when it's hard, every time you remain calm when others panic, every time you keep your discipline when no one sees, you're becoming unbreakable. You're building something far greater than success. You're building character. So live by these rules. Guard your focus. Respect your time. Trust your process. Stay humble. Stay hungry. And keep walking, even when the road feels endless. Because the truth is, every step, even the unseen, silent, painful ones, are carrying you closer to mastery. And one day, when you stand at the top, you'll realize that greatness wasn't waiting there for you. You built it through your patience, your persistence, your solitude, your belief, and your discipline. The best are not born different. They simply decide to do what others won't, and to keep doing it long after others stop. So keep going, keep growing, keep becoming, because the real victory is not in being the best. It's in becoming the kind of person who never stops trying to be.